Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. One of my subscribers asked me to kind of run through the chisels and tools that we use in wood turning. I'm not a professional, I'm not a teacher, but this is my hobby and I will show you the tools I have. There's plenty of variety of different types of tools you could spend whatever money you wanted on. Mine are fairly cheap and cheerful. But yeah, I'm going to run through it and I'll make it as simple as I can. I suppose so simple even a monkey could understand. But just before I get into that, I just want to share some stickers that I got from another cool Irish maker, Blend in Dublin. That's from Paul. So I'm going to be sticking them up on my board, Paul. Cheers for the sticker swap, mate. Right, okay, let's break it down to the basics of the tools. Basically, what's used is high-speed steel and carbide tips. There's lots of different types of carbides that you can get now. I basically have stuck to the three types. I'm going to have to wipe my tools as I'm showing them because they're dirty. So here's the kind of the round one. Now I made this handle and bar up myself. I just bought the tips. Now you can buy a full kit set up. It's expensive enough, I suppose, but I can make these, so I did. So yeah, I just kind of put a slight angle on there just to give me a bit of reach, tapped it in and put that in. So that's great for kind of doing convex and concave kind of maneuvers as you're turning, and it's also great for hollowing out the inside of objects such as bowls or what have you. Then you kind of have the square one. Again, this is another handmade tool. The square one is more like a roughing kind of tool. It's also great for just eating into material. The great thing about these is they stay sharp for a long time. You can rotate the head around. If you see, there is like a dot there, and you can rotate around to each different position until you have to sharpen. And it was something that I didn't know that you could do, was actually you're able to sharpen these by rubbing them on, if I can find it, they're like a diamond stone like that, and that will give them more life, and they'll last a lot longer. The other kind of carbide that I have is a detailer. It's like a diamond. This isn't pretty. I had to just kind of cut an egg shape in it to fit this in. But yeah, no, that's great for doing small kind of detail work, like spindle kind of work. I have had a good few catches with this though, so I do be a little bit wary of it. But yeah, no, it's a good little hogger kind of a tool. Okay, onto the high-speed steel HSS. I'll start off with the big one. My goodness, these are all dirty. But yeah, this is my rough and gouge. These are Axminster tools. I bought these as a set when I bought my lathe. They're cheap and cheerful. They're great. They're great for me kind of since I've started out. Like I do hope to someday have a bigger lathe, and when I do, I'll probably get more tools. But these are great tools. They've lasted me the last 3 years now, and they're still going strong. So rough and gouge would be something you'd use to open up, take all the timber off a log or something that was out around, because it's big and heavy and it won't break. If you went at it with your bowl gouge or something, it could actually, you could end up breaking the tip off of it. But yeah, no, these are they're a super tool for getting things into round, and then you can move on to using your other tools. Next, I'll go on to my bowl gouge. This had a different type of, more so like that shape tip in the beginning, the edge rather. I changed this to like a fingernail edge. I just think it's so much easier, especially when you're starting out as well, because if you have the other type tip, you will get catches and stuff off the top corners. So I think it's nice to put the wings on it, and it gives a better flow to the tool. This is great for bowls, obviously, it's a bowl gouge, but you can also use it on spindle work as well. Now it's a lot bigger to try and get in to do kind of fine kind of finesse type of work. It would be more so for hog an awful lot of material. But yeah, no, this is my go-to tool a lot of the times. On the spindle gouge then, spindle gouge is basically, it's a smaller version of the ball gouge. It's a lot thinner. I done the same thing, I put a fingernail grind on that as well. And yeah, super tool, great for doing kind of bead work and all that kind of stuff. If I was doing captive rings, I would use this to do a lot of my shaping first. And and captive rings is a tool I made up from foil. Foils are made from high speed steel. They're not supposed to be used really for doing this kind of thing. A lot of people have used them to make tools. Some people even use them to make knives out of, and it works fine. I think this is a pretty cool tool that I made up. I kind of I done a bit of grinding work, and I used a bit of the Dremel on it as well. Now it still needs a bit refining. There's a little bit of a lump gone out of it there, but if I'm doing captive rings, I can use this like a hook mechanism to cut in underneath the ring and do it both sides. And then because this is the round shape, it kind of it will cut it all round as the object is spinning around. Yeah, no, it's just a cool little tool that I made up myself. It seems to work well, and yeah, but there you go. You can make your own tools too. Like basically all these tools span from this, the chisel. If you tried to use this on a lathe, it could possibly work, pairing possibly, but you'll more than likely get a catch. So when you look at one of these guys, a chisel, all this is basically is this bent to a half round shape, and that's all it is. That's what these are. These are the same as these. So whoever it was that came up with wood turning in the beginning thought, well, these are chisels that we use. We're spinning something round, make this half round, and you know, you won't get a catch. So that's how that kind of came about. Okay, I'll move on to something that does look like a chisel. It's a skew chisel. I don't use this an awful lot. It's nicknamed Devil's Toothpick. That's a good reason not to use it. This thing can catch on you very easily. I don't use it an awful lot. I really should just dive in and use it more, because it gives a great finish when it's used properly. You kind of use this higher than the piece of wood that you're turning, and it acts like a plane, and it just pairs off the material so nicely, and it leaves a lovely smooth surface. But it is something that I need to use a bit more, and I will someday. Parroting Tools. It's just basically a triangle shape. You come in at your material, and it basically pairs off the width of that. You need to leave yourself a little bit of space as you're doing it, as you cut up into it, so you don't catch, because you could sandwich in between the two bits of timber on either side. But yeah, great tool. I have another one here, which is like a slimline parroting tool. This is actually a Robert Sorby one that I got for Christmas last year. But this is a fantastic piece of kit. You can tell the difference in the quality of the steel compared to these guys. Not that there's anything wrong with these guys, it's just this one is just superior to this, and that's what the price gets you. You know, it's the difference in price. Get a higher quality steel, and it works perfect. And lastly but not leastly is my little round nose scraper. There's so many different kinds of these. You can get like a half scraper, you can get really big heavy ones. These are great. I like using this. I like using this for doing finishing cuts. It gives a nice smooth surface. I know a lot of people won't use these. I think they think it's almost cheating, but yeah, no, I like using this tool. And you know, again, with all these, you have to keep these sharp, so you will need a sharpening system as well. I'm not going to go into how you sharpen all of them, because there's so many different ways, and there's lots of different videos online on how to do that. But yeah, you have to keep all these guys sharp, because if they're not sharp, they're not gonna cut the material, and the sharper, the better. Speeds vary on what you're turning really on the lathe. If you're turning something that's kind of one-sided heavy, you're gonna get vibration. You're gonna have to go slow. You're better off starting at slow speed, and you'll see when your vibration goes out of a piece, then you know that you can actually you can go ahead and speed up. But the faster, the better finish. But you have to limit yourself to what the speed, what the piece can actually do. Because if you're spinning too fast and you're getting a lot of vibration, you're not going to get nice cuts. You just kind of have to find that right balance, and that's something that you just pick up over time. Well, I hope that gave you some insight. If you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll try and cover them in my next video. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to watch more, subscribe.